No, I cannot pause this.
All right, all right. We are live for
So go to the bathroom.
game one breakdown of
Stop.
Boston Celtics versus the Golden State Warriors.
Now I gotta hear you being
It's
loud.
your gracious co-host, Lou and X and Lou. What's good, X?
What's up? What's up, man?
So yeah, let's get straight into this, man. What did you see from game one? Like what was your takeaway?
I mean, I don't ever want to discredit the credit Boston. I think they played a fantastic game. As a collective, bringing it all together and winning that game. But as well, that's one of the just a game that the Warriors lost. They was up like 15 points and then collapsed. It was an epic collapse to be exact. And it's just like, but I just can't. You can't discredit Boston because as a unit, everyone pitched in and they played fantastic, and they got that win. What about you? What you see, man?
Um, I again, like you said, I don't want to discredit the Celtics. I think the Celtics they did what they had to do. They did exactly what they had to do. I think it was more of the Warriors, and we talked about this before the game, that it would be the Celtics that got stagnant on offense and not the Warriors, and the Warriors were the one that got stagnant on offense, and you can't do that. You can't do that in the can't do that in the fourth quarter. Um, I think the disparity was like a 15, 16 point disparity in the fourth quarter. It was like 40 to like
Bro,
16 or something
40
like that.
to yeah, 40 to 16.
Yeah, so you can't do that. You can't do that in the second, and you can't do that in the second half period. I think they played fantastic in the third quarter. Fourth quarter it was bad, man. It just they didn't do what they had to do. Um, I think moving forward, I think game two, of course, the Warriors always make adjustments going into the next game. I haven't seen them lose back to back games in the playoffs yet, so I think that they'll be fine for game two. But this was huge for Boston. Stealing one on the road, especially game one, this was huge. Does this change your predictions, your finals predictions?
Does it change? I still got the Warriors, man. Is it gonna be five? That was bold as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Of course it was bold, and I'm still going to stick with five. I don't give a damn. I
Mm,
always said it was going to be six. That's really the thing. They got two
mm.
games where Boston could play fantastic and the Warriors could play horrible. This was a game where the Boston, as a unit, they played fantastic, and the
Yep.
Warriors the Warriors played well. It's just the support and cast is the thing that we got to talk about because it's just one of those games that it's just like, yo, the Warriors was supposed to win this one. And it's just like, yo, you expect the team to go ahead and get, that's their goal to get a win on the road. And the Boston did that. But I don't think the Warriors should have conceived that to them.
Uh, Going on what Draymond said, they've never been beaten when the big three of the Celtics, I mean, of the Warriors, have been healthy. And that is true. When all three are healthy, they haven't lost. I think the anomaly would be was the 2016 finals when Cleveland got their ring. But I think that was a culmination. Well, Curry was injured. He was playing MJ. I think he had a hamstring injury that series, and then Draymond was suspended. So I think that was the only anomaly,
Anomaly.
anomaly.
Big
Um,
words.
right. But I think that I still have them in six. I think that this wasn't the game that they needed. It wasn't a desperate need. I think that needs are when you're down in a series and
Road
you
wins.
yeah,
Road wins. You got to get
and
on the
and and Boston, to their credit, have been a terrific road team. A majority of their wins have come on the road. The
Yeah, I think
big
now
ones
they're
have come on the
they're
road.
10-2. I think now
Right.
in
So
postseason now.
I'm not really too concerned. And the Warriors historically play good at home. So this was more of a I want to say it was more of it, it was more of the Celtics and less of the Warriors on this one. And I'm not gonna discredit the Celtics, but I mean this was on the Warriors too. I mean you can't you, you had Boston, Derek White, you had Al Horford, you had a bunch of players that typically don't hit big shots, typically are not uh focal or vital in the game plan, that just became X factors over this one game.
overnight.
I don't see Derek White doing that again. I don't see a repeat performance from Derek White. I don't see Al Horford going 6 from 8 from three again. Um, I think that there's going to be a lot of adjustments made for game two. And I think that the Warriors just might blow them out in game two, and then it'll become a actual series by game three. So what's your predictions for game two?
Game two, of course, it's at home. The Warriors before this game, I think they were 8-0 at home. Was it 8-0?
Yep.
6-0 or something? It was 8-0. Yeah, 8-0 at home. So it's just like now they're 8-1. It's just like they're gonna protect their house. They're not gonna come out and they're gonna look at the film. They're gonna see what they did wrong. There was a lot of things that was just wrong, and I think even the rotations, the substitutions, a lot of things that should have came. And then it's just like Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole, like it's these rookies that sometimes, well, he's not a rookie, but the younger players that get me mad because they make younger player mistakes. And they just gotta
Right.
be there and go through that, because no matter what vets are there, they're gonna pump you up and tell you what they gotta tell you. Even while you're playing in the middle of the game, you gotta go through it. It's just like, raising a kid.
Yeah.
At some point you could teach them as much as you can, but once they go through those school doors, they're out there. So it's like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, going on that. I mean, you had contributions from the Warriors that you typically don't get. I mean, Iggy came back from his absence, and he came off the bench and gave them a spark in the third quarter. Um, I think that I think Kerr's rotations are going to get a little bit better. I think that the rotations were kind of out of whack. You got to ride with your hot hand. I understand taking Curry out because he had the 3 fouls, but that severely impacted the game. Curry was red hot coming out the gate, and then it just fizzled down up into the third quarter when he kind of got back into a rhythm. But then he got that fourth foul. I think he didn't come back into the fourth quarter until it was about 7 minutes left.
Yeah, this is regular rotation time.
Right, and I think if he would have came back a little bit earlier, I want to say around the 8 or 9 minute mark, if he would have came back in, I think that it would have been a little bit better. He would have had, you got to, when you're on a bench that long, you fall out of rhythm. You're no longer in rhythm and everything, and you're taken out of the game, especially when you're in rhythm. I mean, the third quarter and the first quarter for him were big. I mean, he scored 22 in the first quarter, and then he scored another I think 10 in the third quarter. So coming back into the fourth quarter, it fizzled a little bit. Then you don't get contributions from Clay. I think Clay has to be aggressive. He has to be more aggressive. I think that a lot of the shots that he did take were good shots. Some of them didn't fall, but that's just basketball. Dre, for his efforts, he was aggressive. It just wasn't at opportune times. And then you don't get contributions from Poole. You don't get. I think Otto Porter played great for what he was asked to do, especially from him missing time as well. Iggy played great, but when you don't have contributions from your main your core, and that being Dre and Clay, it's not going to be the win that you want, and this reflected, especially in the fourth quarter. I think it reflected. I think Curry pressed a little bit too much in the fourth quarter as well, and I think that led to a lot of missed opportune shots. well, not even missed opportune shots. I think he was just pressing. I think he was trying to do a little bit too much, and he wanted to put the team on his back. And at that time, that's not the time you need to put your team on the back. That in that aspect, you need to put the team on your back, as in rallying them and getting them more involved. Wiggins was
Mhm.
barely involved in the fourth quarter, and I think Wiggins played terrific up into the fourth quarter. I think everybody on the Warriors played terrific up into the fourth quarter. It was just that fourth quarter, man.
Yeah, and I think on that too, like when we talk about the rotations with Curry, if you're a Warriors fan, you know Curry he plays the whole first and third quarter, then 6 minutes each, in a second and a fourth he played those last 6 minutes. And it's like you said, I think sometimes you just got to realize certain moments, certain things that's happening, and you just got to go out of your rotations and just be like, you know what, let me throw Curry in there earlier, and it's like,
Mhm.
yo, you might be, and like you say, you see them guys look tired. You might be tired, but we need this win right here because
Yeah,
not, obviously don't need a win, but it's just like we're up so much. We don't want to give these boys any type of, oh yes, this is us. We got this.
yeah.
I
You
don't
don't
want
want
to
to
give
give him
them
no
none of that.
confidence,
I don't
right?
want to give them none of that. And it's just like you don't want none of that. And then like you said, I think Wiggins, he played fine, but I think Wiggins has to, and this is one of the things with Wiggins, I think he's soft. Like we're gonna say it. And it's just like it is what it is. He's soft mentally, you know what I mean? He needs to
Mhm.
be like that wing, like early, like, and it's because his shot was a little off. I think at the time, like going into the half, he was like 2 for 6 or something. But I still want him to be aggressive shooting that three. He was two for
Mhm.
six from three or something like that. I
Right.
still want him to be aggressive because you got Rob Williams on you. Rob Williams, he don't want to really contest out at three. He'll block some of
Mhm.
them shots, but a lot of those shots that he blocked at the three was against guys who was like 6'4" that he was guarding out there, PJ Tuckers and stuff who got them low jumpers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. He
Your
blocked. I think he
Wiggins,
blocked Curry, and he blocked Poole.
yeah, but at the 3 point line, nah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. At
know.
the 3 point, he blocked Curry, and then I believe he blocked Poole. I gotta watch the tape again, but I know he blocked Curry's shot.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. Probably was using the bathroom. Um, Yeah, I don't remember that one. But yeah, it's just like I still think he just needs to find a way to be more aggressive. And it's just like I said, the rotations, the lineups, and it's just like I love Mooney. Defensively, he's fantastic. He was grabbing them offensive rebounds. Nobody was stopping him on the boards. And
Mhm.
you thought going into this matchup, and it was just like I think Ime Udoka is a fantastic coach because just
Yeah.
when you look at the lineup, you think, okay, Rob Williams is probably going to be on Mooney. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's just that and the third. So with Rob Williams, and I know they usually put him in the corner, guard the guy so he could rotate off. They put Rob Williams on Wiggins, and he just rotates off of Wiggins. And it's just like, oh shoot, wait, because it's just like, and the thing about it is it changes up their actions because now you put Smart, Tatum, and Brown all in the same Warriors actions where they run their screens, where they run
Mhm.
whatever, and all of them can switch. We spoke about that. They all can
Yeah.
switch. So it changes up all the actions. If you want to bring Rob Williams into that action, you can see that, do a quick switch, and you can have Horford, scram switch real quick and go up in that screen action.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Instead of having Rob Williams run up into that. And then we gotta think about it. It's genius, bro. It's absolutely fantastic because all of them could just literally switch. And I'm like, yo, what the hell? Blowing up all the actions and they just stepping up high now because Rob Williams don't want to step up high. That's why Steph Curry had so much threes at the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And if you bring up Rob Williams into the screen and he actually get caught up in that action, now you have Draymond and Looney in the back, which you could just rotate off. There ain't no threat to score at all. None. So it's like it mucks up all their actions. That's why you seen in that second half when they clamped down and they really was like, yo, we playing the Warriors. We're not playing the Heat who can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not playing them. And they started to step up on the actions to take away some of the actions. And it just mucked up everything for them.
I think I think what is going to be a detriment in game two is that there's gonna be a lot more actions. There's gonna be a lot more uh offensive looks thrown at the Celtics to confuse them, because I think that's what really led to the lead in the first and the second quarter was the fact that they was confused a lot. You talk about it. They're not playing the Heat. There's not a lot of the Heat get very stagnant, and the ball kind of sticks in Miami. Whereas in Golden State, they play a little bit Greg Popovich esque, where the ball is moving a lot. Um, there's a lot of there's not even pick and rolls. I would say there's pick and sets. Um, the, there's a lot of underneath screens and a lot of off ball actions going on that free up a lot of these players. I think there's going to be a lot more, and I think Kerr is going to understand. I mean, Kerr is more experienced. He's the more experienced coach coming into into this series. So I think that he will have a better gauge of what to do. I think that the biggest mistake was keeping Curry on the bench for so long and not riding with your hot hand. I think I'm not sure how healthy Otto is, but I think when they
Yeah.
took out Otto, that also, kind of changed the dynamic of those couple of minutes. He was given fantastic minutes. I got to see how many minutes he played here, but I think that Iggy gave fantastic minutes too. Uh, the rotation should be, if you're taking out Dre, you have to put in somebody that's gonna incorporate what Dre does offensively and defensively. And I think Iggy could do that because Iggy's smart enough to do that. And he still has his legs where he can still move and play defensively.
Yeah.
So Iggy has to come in for Dre. It can't be Kaminga. It can be Otto. Otto could come in for Dre too, but it can't be Otto running the offense the way Dre does. Um it would have to be either, Clay. Clay could stop start it at the top, and then then you could get into your actions where you're not allowing Clay to put the ball on the floor to move around or whatever. You could have Curry or Poole do it. And I think another thing is Poole is young. I think this is his first series where he's gone this deep. This is his first finals. I think Poole's going to learn from that experience too, from game one, where you know I think Poole was pressing a little bit too much as well. I think he wanted to do a little bit too much.
Too
Wait,
much.
he went like 0 for 4 on his first shots, or 0 for 5 or something like that, and he finished what
9
3
points, I
for
think.
yeah, he was like
Yeah,
3
he had
for
9
10 or something
points.
like that.
I just think he was just driving too deep into the paint and just getting lost in the paint where he just had to throw passes out and you just like he was driving with no intention or no
Yeah,
plan, and it just got him in trouble.
yeah, it did. It and I love Poole. I think Poole, he's very explosive. He's fast. He's nimble on his feet. He has a soft touch, and he can get to the rim. Like if any of the big three can't get to the rim, he's one of the ones that could get to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that they need to exploit as well. They did it well in the Mavs series. They did it well in the Memphis series. They got to get to the rim. They can't rely on the jump shot. And if the threes are not falling, do what you did in the Mavs series when you chipped away and got yourself back into the game. And that's getting to the rim and getting to the mid range. Just chip away.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about the big home run hitters. Curry, if your shot's not working at that point in time, like it was in the beginning of the game, you got to do other things to get everybody else involved. That's what
Mhm.
Tatum did. Tatum wasn't pressing. His shot wasn't falling. He wasn't. He was pretty much taken out of the game. And what did he do? He got his teammates involved. He trusted his teammates.
Yes,
The
sir.
the the best players in the world, that's what you do. Your shot's not working. Kobe has done it plenty of times. His shot wasn't falling. What did he do? Get his teammates involved. He'll get Powell involved. He'll get Odom or Shannon Brown. He'll get one of his guys involved. And then what else you could do is, and that's something that I don't think was talked about a lot. They didn't get to the free throw line a lot in the
Yeah.
fourth quarter. That gets your offense going too. You see that, you see them
Mhm.
shots falling at the free throw line. All right, now you're seeing the shots falling, and on top of that, you're stopping the clock. So
Yeah.
I I,
But
I think
and like, let me just chime in for a second. I think, like you said, get to the free throw line, and this is where there's a complete difference. The Warriors are the pretty boys of the NBA, bro. They like, you know what I mean? They not really gonna get into your body and draw those fouls like that. That's just people like that's people who they faced in the other rounds. That's Giannis.
mhm,
That's Butler. Those are people who's gonna do that. Who on the Warriors is gonna do that? The only person who has the closest proximity to be able to do that, and
Wiggins,
I already called him soft, is
Wiggins,
Wiggins. So he has to have that mentality. He has to have that mentality to do that. And now also, what I was saying with the rotations is, like I said, I love Looney and Draymond, but together it creates that dynamic of now the floor spacing isn't the best, and that's the reason why Ime Udoka''s strategy worked so well,
mhm,
because the floor spacing isn't the best. So I think, like you said, you want to have Iggy come in, you want to have guys like that, and this is the toughest thing. Now I don't even have to say, but you need somebody else who's in there who can shoot. That's why when Porter was in there, he was so big,
yeah,
because he gave that extra floor space and that extra one guy. And it's just like, all right, cool. Having Looney and Draymond in there at the same time is fantastic because they both could pass. But guess what?
right,
Now you just got to figure out a way where they only sharing minutes for a little bit at a time instead of
yes,
major minutes
I agree.
together, so it could create open floor space. And then that's when a guy like Poole can actually attack the basket.
I think
That's when the basket will open up. But until then, that
yeah,
basket's not going to
it's
open.
not gonna
And
it's not gonna
then
open up.
Poole is going to continue to struggle. And then guess what? Curry's not going to get to the line either because their baskets will be
It,
crowded.
it
You got
it
Rob
it shrinks
Williams
the
down
floor
there.
essentially
You got
because
Al
you want,
Horford down there.
yeah, it shrinks the floor. And the Warriors, to their credit, they want to play a lot of five out. You can't play five out with Looney on the floor. You
Nope.
can't.
Because guess what that leads to? Draymond shooting 4 threes in a game. If Draymond shoot 4 threes in a game, you lose, and that's what
Yeah,
happened. You lose.
I mean,
You
I'm
lose.
I'm
I
not
see
mad at
one of
Dre.
his. I'm not mad at him shooting it.
Yeah,
You
I'm
want
not. I'm mad
the
at
defense
they
to be
leave you
able to
that
do
open. You
that.
have to shoot it. You have to make them
But
pay.
at the end
But
of the
in
day,
order to make them
you
pay,
don't want
you
to be
have
that
to make
guy.
the shot. You know, I think
Exactly. I don't want Dre to be that guy.
nah, I
Listen,
don't
go
either.
ahead.
I think going into game two, I don't think Looney starts. And that's the smart strategy. You don't want Looney to
Hmm.
start. This is not the Mavs. This is not the Mavs. This is not Memphis where you need
They
him to
don't
start
have one, but
essentially.
yeah.
You need, but because of the fact that you want to take Robert Williams out the game. And in order to take Robert Williams out the game, you need another shooter on the floor that can also
Mhm.
rebound. I think starting I would say Kaminga, but Kaminga is still
Mhm.
green, and I think Kaminga would press a little bit too much as well. I think
Yeah.
need to start Iggy, or you need to start Porter. Starting one of those two, one it opens the floor. Porter could shoot at the three. He's a 3-and-D. He could rebound, and he's smart. Iggy will be the better bet because he's more experienced and he knows how to play with with the rest of them. Though I think to your credit, I think Wiggs needs to be more aggressive. I think he was 8 for 13. That's terrific. But I need 20 shots from him. I need 20 shots from him, and I need 20 shots from Clay. Um, and I don't mean jump shots. Wiggs needs to get into the paint. He needs to make his presence felt, and he needs to get physical. He has to be the catalyst into making them physical. It can't be Dre. I think when Dre was trying to get physical and getting into the paint and everything, I love it, but that's not what you need from Dre. You need Dre. You need Dre. As the catalyst, as in moving people around, getting people into their spots, running the offense in half court sets. That's what you need from Dre. I don't need Dre coming down and then like, oh, I need to be the one that's aggressive and get into the rim. No, I need that from Wiggins. Give the ball to Wiggins, and Wiggs, if you're taking it from the hash, drive, bro. Drive. Make your presence felt. Even if
Mhm.
you don't make it at the rim, you're either gonna get the foul or you're going to put them on notice. Like, all right, he's the one that's driving. We need to clog the paint a little bit, and what does that happen? It opens up for Clay, who's running backdoor actions. So it's opening up for Curry, who's coming off of screens and all of that, and it opens it up for Dre too, because Dre is a fantastic cutter as well. And then whoever else is on the court, whether it be Iggy, whether it be Porter, and then when you take Al out and you only have Williams in, that's when you bring in Looney. That's when you bring in Looney.
Yeah, I agree. Now, also one of the people I think too, and it's tough to even say it because he hasn't played some games, some series he ain't come in, but it's the Spanish dude, Balenci. I'm gonna call him Balenciaga, but you know who I'm talking about. What is his name?
Balachas, I forget,
Something
man.
like
We
that.
look
You
him
know
up.
who
We
I'm
look him up.
talking.
I
You
know
know
you're
who I'm
talking about.
talking about.
I know you're talking about.
Him, because he can at least space the floor, and he's also a bigger body as well. I think obviously lateral, they're gonna try to take advantage of him and things like that. But come on, look at the game. They're taking advantage of Poole. They're taking advantage of Curry. They're gonna take advantage of people. All our people who are phenomenal on defense.
Mm-hmm.
When we think about their offense, it's not really there. The only person who got both sides, who could really be both sides, is Wiggins. Of course, we're gonna say Clay, but Clay obviously lost a step. And it's just like your fantastic defenders are hurt, and Gary Payton, and guess what? He's not a shooter like that. He can make them.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
this also goes back to what you were saying before game one, that Clay should be on Tatum. They had Wiggins on Tatum, and I think that's what freed up Brown a lot, because Brown he's an excellent cutter. He's excellent finishing around the rim, and he's physical. And I think Wiggins needs to be on Brown, and Clay needs to be on Tatum.
I was gonna sit there and say that because you gotta think about it. That whole fourth quarter excerpt that Brown had, where he exerted his dominance in his game, and it just made this. Well, he was present for like 16 of those points. It was all him. He scored an assist on them.
Yep.
It's like, yo, if you had Wiggins on him, somebody who could actually slow him down a little bit better, it's like home. And it's the thing. Brown is gonna make some tough shots. Wiggins was on him some parts of those, but some switches and things like that. But it's Brown's gonna make some tough shots. And I seen it early in the game where Brown had 3 possessions straight on Wiggins, right? I think it was like 3 possessions. I just remember them.
Right.
The first one he missed. Like, all right, dude, that's the Wiggins effect. The second one was this absolutely tough shot that he made. And it was just like, damn, that was the toughest shot he's going to have all year. And then the third one, he passed the ball up. He was just, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's, some people would, when you get on Brown is be hesitant. And he realized, like,
I think another, I want to say, an X factor for the Warriors that they need to insert, especially when it comes to guarding Brown, if you want to show up your rotations on who Brown sees, is Moody. I think Moody is an excellent D3 player, and if you put him, he's young enough, he could stay in front of Brown. He can make it difficult. I'm not saying that he's going to lock Brown up, but he's going to make it difficult. He is terrific. He's a terrific defender. I think he's an underrated defender. And I think that's another look that you can throw at Brown. I think that the main focus should be on Brown and Tatum, but it's what looks you're throwing at them. And I think Clay should be the primary on Tatum, and then when Clay goes to the bench, I think it should be either Porter or Iggy. And I think on Brown, it should be Wiggins and Moody. And I think if you implement Moody into it, Moody he's smart enough to run the actions that Clay runs, because he does it. But he's also an underrated defender. And I think that he'll be able to keep his feet under him and shuffle it enough to make it difficult for Brown.
Yeah, I can't lie. I think Moody, and that's my guy. I think Moody, honestly, for playoff basketball, and we're gonna keep it 100. And playoff basketball, I think Moody right now, obviously, is fantastic. And everybody keeps saying Kuminga this, Kuminga that. I think potentially for the future, Kaminga's going to be a fantastic player, but I think
Mhm.
he's just too athletic. And when I say that, it's like when you're so athletic, you play on that more than your actual mindset of the game.
Exactly. You
So
you
I
playing
think
more on
that's
your talent than on your actual experience.
exactly, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of things where I watch the games. I seen Kaminga, I'm like, damn, he got fan. You know, you see the highlights and stuff is fantastic, but it's like all the other times I'll be saying here like, yo, bro, just get him out the game, please. Get somebody in there. You know what I mean? But I
He
love him.
presses
I
too much.
think,
He presses.
yeah,
And I love Kaminga too. I think we've had this conversation before where Kaminga, he's a terrific player, but he's just too springy. And I think
yeah.
that also comes with experience. It comes with being in the league and
Hmm.
understanding your talent,
Yeah.
understanding when to implement it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you
How to harness the power.
right. I think another player that I don't want to say a similarity, but had to learn his springness and had to learn.
Who you gonna
Um,
say? Go ahead.
but I think one of them is definitely Derrick Rose. Derrick Rose, um, his first year, I think he pressed a lot. He
Hmm.
was too fast. He was too jerky, but he learned. I mean, that MVP season that he had, he learned his body, he learned his speed, and he learned when to be explosive and when not to, and that's comes with being and wait, Kaminga's still he's he's still a rookie, isn't he?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, you're
this
right.
is either his first or second year,
Mm-hmm.
so that's gonna
Straight out of
come.
G League.
Yeah, so it's gonna come. It's gonna come, but it's gonna come with the experience of
Yeah,
knowing your body and knowing the NBA speed, and it's
yeah.
it's just gonna come with more playing time. But I think Moody is the better play here, and I
But who
think
was the
that look,
other player you was gonna compare to Kaminga?
Westbrook,
Westbrook.
yeah,
What's the thing? I'm sitting here thinking like, yo, you're sitting here saying all these other names because you're thinking superstar players, and of
mm,
course, we love superstar players. But the one person I sit there and say, and he's sitting on the bench with him, is Iguodala.
mm, I didn't even think about that. I did not think about
Bro,
that.
I'm telling
Iggy,
you, like
Iggy
he
was
needs
another
to
one.
follow. Bro, he
Yeah,
came in the league, booming on everybody, jumping out
springy.
the
Yep,
gym, doing all of this. And when you think of him now, he won a Finals MVP because he played defense, not because he
right.
fucking jumped over Braun.
Hmm.
No, because he played defense, and I think he's literally in the same mold. And Kaminga literally has to just look at him and be like, "Yo, is that me? Yes, that's you."
I think they're trying to make Kuminga another Dre, but I like the comparison with Iggy because of the fact that when Iggy did come into the league, he was very springy, he was very just uber athletic and just using his athleticism rather than his basketball skills. Um,
Mhm.
and it took some time. I think by the time by the I want to say at the end of his tenure with Philadelphia before he went to Denver, that's when he kind of figured
That's
out his
when
game.
yeah.
um by the time he got to Denver, he knew what kind of player he was. But that's
Hmm.
experience. I mean, by
Yep.
the end of his tenure in Philadelphia, he was already, 5, 6
Yeah.
years in the league.
Exactly.
So that's gonna come. Kaminga's gonna get it. He's going to understand his body. But right
Mhm.
now, you need somebody that already understands his body. You need somebody that
Exactly.
already understands what they can do on the court and what they can't do, what their capabilities are basketball wise, not talent wise. And I
Mhm.
think Moody has that. Moody
Yeah.
was excellent in the Memphis series, excellent. He came off the bench and gave them quality minutes. And then look, I'm looking here. Otto Porter played 24 minutes. He gave you 4 for 5 shooting with 4 rebounds and 12 points. Um, I think I think Looney played too many minutes. He had 25 minutes. He was 1 for 4, 9 rebounds and 4 points with 5 assists. I think you take Looney out, you insert Porter into the lineup, eat up some of Looney's minutes. You put Looney's minutes around the 12 to 15 minute mark because you only want him to come in when it's just Robert Williams on the court. And I would implement um Iggy and Moody. You give Moody about, I want to say, 12 to 13 minutes. and all you're doing is implementing his minutes to substitute for Clay's.
Yeah.
Clay's at 39 minutes, 15 points, 6 for 14 shooting. And I need them to be more aggressive. Wiggs 8 for 15, 20 points. I need 20 shots from both of them. Curry took 25 shots. I need Curry. I'm not even mad at Curry's shots. He's a superstar. I'm not mad at his shots. I think some of his shot selection in the fourth quarter was like I said, he was
that's
pressing.
because he was trying to get them home run. He was trying to get the home run shots, them shots that get them that momentum where it's like, I'm back. I'm about to just light up. And it's just like, yo, look, just get it within the flow.
Yeah, going
but
into the fourth quarter.
That's also playing into KD's hands.
Well, going into the fourth quarter, going into the fourth quarter, I mean, Curry was
happy.
Coming into the fourth quarter, Curry was 10 for 18. He was 10 for 18 going into the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm. But you gotta realize from that first quarter, to the end of the game, he was like 5 for 16, 1 for 8 from 3.
Who? Curry?
Yes. First quarter, he was like 7 for 9. After that,
yeah, he was 7 for 9. Yeah.
After that, it was like 5 for 16.
And then in the third quarter, he made some shots. Yeah, I think the fourth quarter he was just pressing. He was just trying to do too much. He was trying to put the team on his back. And I'm not saying that that's not the player that Curry is, but you still have to play within your own system. I think that they got outside of what Kerr does so good.
But you can't be mad at him because at the end of the day, Clay wasn't really giving you nothing crazy. Yeah, Wiggs was contributing, but he was contributing enough where it could keep you in the game and have you there. But it's just like at the end of the day, you need either Clay or Poole to sit there and show up. Because if them two show up and give you anything where Curry don't have to take some of those shots that he took, it's a different game. So it's literally just about the Warriors not really showing up. So
yeah, I mean, Poole gives you 25 minutes, but he only gives you 2 for 7 shooting. He had 4 turnovers with 9 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. That can't happen again. You need Jordan Poole to give you, if he's going to give you 25 minutes,
anywhere from 15 to 20 points, regardless.
Yeah, you have to. And he's averaged that. He's averaged 18 points in these playoffs coming off the bench. So that's what you need from him. You need 15 points from Poole. And you can't have these turnovers. I think. Hold on, let me see how many turnovers they had collectively.
The thing about it is they can't take that because at the end of the day, Poole is still a defensive liability.
He is.
But if you're a defensive liability, you got to be Curry. Curry's a defensive liability out there too. But guess what? He gave you 34.
Yeah. That there has to be a give and take. There has to be
exactly. It's got to be
a level of give and take.
Yeah, it got to be something where it deflates the team because when Curry start lighting up, it deflates the other team. Mm-hmm. So it's like, sure, he's not the best. He got gravity on offense. He deflates the other team with them shots where they just like, damn, I just made a 3. He goes ahead and make a 3. They get a steal from Draymond. He throws it up, and now they make another 3. And it's just like, damn, like, you know what I mean? They give you those type of moments.
You know what I don't like? I don't like that Kerr. When he takes out Clay, he puts in Poole. Now you have Poole and Curry on the floor at the same time. I'm not saying that they're not good on the floor at the same time. I much rather, if you're going to take out Clay, put in Moody first. But if you're going to take out Curry, insert Poole at that point in time because it has to be a balance. There has to be a balance. And I like them all on the floor at the same time. But I want Poole to be the first one off the bench, give Curry a little bit of rest, then put Curry back on the floor, and you still have all of these guys on the floor with each other.
Well, the thing about that, you gotta still be able to have that ability to have somebody else who can score on the floor. If you're gonna bring Moody in and you just leave, you take Clay out and you put Moody in, who else on that floor is gonna shoot the ball efficiently?
You still got Curry. You still got Curry on the floor.
I understand. That's what I'm saying. But guess what? Guess what? Will you take the chance? Will you just have Curry out there? Now everybody can completely and truly just stare at Curry. Having Clay out there, that opens it up. Having Poole out there, it opens it up to the point where it's just like, all right, cool. We still have to look at him. If you have Moody out there with Draymond, Looney, and Wiggins, whatever. I'm gonna take my chances.
Okay, so if you're gonna start Looney. If you absolutely need to start Looney, I don't feel that he should start in this series.
No, I ain't say start him. I'm just, oh, you
But
gonna
I'm saying
okay, go ahead.
if you're gonna start Looney, Looney should be the first off the floor. That's when you insert Poole. Now what you can do is you can mix mix and match
Moody and all
your
the other
right.
guys.
Now you can mix and match your rotations. If you absolutely have to start Looney. And in my opinion, I don't for this particular series, I don't think that you should start Looney. You
Yeah,
don't.
that's
You
good.
shouldn't.
That's a whole
And
fact.
you have I mean just going down these the field goal percentage, um 51% to 44% in favor of Boston, 3-point 51% to 42% in favor of Boston. I don't think that's gonna happen again. The Celtics are not a premier 3-point team. They're not. Um,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna get another again. You're not gonna get another performance out of Derek White, Derek freaking White. You're not gonna get another
And,
performance like that out of him.
and I can't lie. We talk about Derek White performance. I don't think we're gonna get a performance out of Tatum again, like he had on both sides. Not on both sides, on both aspects of offense.
I mean,
And
I do. I do.
bro,
I do.
I don't think he's gonna.
Tatum is not
Obviously,
consistent to me.
I
He's not
understand he's
consistent.
not consistent. And listen to this, right? And what I say this, I mean it in a good and a bad way. You're not gonna have him get 13 assists with only 2 turnovers. The man averages damn near 4 to 5 turnovers, 4 point something. So 4 to 5 turnovers this playoffs. He only got 2. And then he doubles his assist numbers in one game. So it's like that's one factor. You're not gonna get that out of him. And then I don't think he's gonna shoot this bad in any game going forward.
I don't think he's gonna shoot this bad. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be this bad on offense. But he's not consistent on offense. That's one thing that Tatum and Brown have. They're just not consistently potent on offense, and I think that's a detriment. A lot of things fell right for them in the fourth quarter, and it went well for them. And kudos to them. I mean, you have to tip your hat to them. But do I see another fourth quarter collapse like that again? No, I don't. The Warriors are too experienced of a team to let that happen to them twice in one series. There's never if they and you have to go by patterns. If it's never happened before, then it's not going to happen again. You have to go by patterns, and historically, they haven't been this bad in the fourth quarter ever. Well, I mean, I can't say ever, but I mean, I think you could take, and you said it before, they're going to give you one game where they're just going to shit the bucket, and I think this might have been the game. They're not going to shit the bucket again in the fourth quarter. They're not. They're not. So moving forward, again, this is a 7-game series. You have the Warriors still going, winning in 5. I still think that's a little too high. I still have them winning in 6. I think that moving forward, we could both agree that this was, of course, it was a must-win game for Boston, more than it was a must-win game for the Warriors, right? I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on in my background.
I thought you had a sound effect going on.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, but we could both agree that that this was a must-win game for the Celtics more than it was a must-win game for the Warriors. But do you think that this game 2 is a must-win for the Warriors?
Bro, you're still at home. It's always a must-win. When you're at home, you got to protect the house. And it's going to be a must-win. I think they have literally in these next 3 games, they have 2 must-wins because they got to take their home back. I mean, they got to protect the house, and then when they go to Boston, they got to take home court advantage back. So,
okay,
you know what I mean. So even if the series do go to 7, it's like, I mean, you know what I mean. They could force a game 7 where they back at home.
Right. Do you feel that Boston? Do you feel like this this Boston win was an anomaly for the series, or do you think that Boston showed who they truly are in game one?
I mean, as it's a unit, it's a team. I think they showed exactly who they were, but it also was just like I was saying, the Warriors just gonna have some game where they shit the bed, and this was it. But I think Boston still showed exactly who they were. We gotta look at the facts of role players coming in and playing big when you need them to play. That shows good coaching and just encouragement to your team and trust and believe in them that they could do what they got to do. Because we got to understand, White was so high that you have your defensive player of the year sitting on the bench for a little extra minutes. He ain't even coming in his natural rotations because guess what? White was high. You heard that, Kerr? So with you know what I mean, with Curry's hot.
I mean, but do you leave Curry? Do you leave Curry in knowing that he's hot, but that he has 3 fouls?
He's been there.
You trust him?
Do you trust him?
Do I trust Curry to not get another foul?
I would trust him. I don't care. I would take the chance.
Yeah. I mean, that's your superstar. He's hot. Exactly. Leave him in the game. No, I totally agree. I would leave him in the game.
I'm gonna take the chance, but I think Boston showed exactly who they are. They've been playing tough series since the Tatum and Brown era. They've been playing tough series, and I think just actually having a team brought together by a fantastic coach is showing exactly who they really are for real. And these playoffs have definitely showed it from first series to the finals.
Do you feel that the Warriors showed you exactly who they are, or was this an anomaly for them?
This is exactly who the Warriors are. What do you mean? And I mean to say,
well, I'm saying that in the fourth quarter.
What I mean to say is, I mean the Warriors is going to shit the bed at some point. Every series they have one game where you just like, yo, who are these guys? Like, what the hell are you doing?
Do you think that this loss was more of a fact that the Warriors had more time off and that the Celtics had a little bit more continuity going into the series?
I mean, that's always something, but we got to realize that these guys have been playing in the playoffs, and these guys have been playing in the postseason for a long time. They're older guys, they're vets. These guys are gonna be tired. They're like in their 30s. But also too, I think having the time off does play a factor. But these guys haven't really been in the postseason for the last 2 years. You guys should be rested, bro. I understand y'all played some games, but y'all ain't been in the playoffs for two seasons, really.
Right.
Should have been rested. I don't know what y'all doing.
I mean, yeah, they had a whole 7 days off compared to the Celtics.
Yeah, man, got their hands on their knees and stuff, hands on their sides. Like, come on.
I mean, but that's also. I mean, I would say that's also. I don't want to say conditioning, but I mean, when you're off that long, 7 days is a long time to be off in the playoffs. You know, I mean, it's different when it's football where you're, you're getting your body right. You're getting ready for the next game. But that's a 1-game series in football. You're talking about a 7-game series where that 7 days gives you enough time not only to go over tape and look at what they've done the past 3 series leading up to the series, but also getting your body right. Getting your conditioning and knowing that this is going to be a long series. I want to say this series is almost equivalent to the Memphis series. You have a bunch of young guys who run, who are just as conditioned. The oldest player on that court is Horford. And when you got Horford, you're leaving Horford wide open and he's hitting 6 for 8 from 3. I mean, that's I of course I don't think it's gonna happen again, but I mean Horford is a good shooter. I mean you can't leave a good shooter open. Even if the numbers
he's been shooting nearly 40% for the postseason already. So it's like you think they're gonna regress to the means of their regular season, but when you come into this postseason, certain players to show up and show out better in a postseason than they do. And Al Horford is actually being that right now, and Derek White for the last 2 series. And I just want to say sorry. I apologize, Derek White. I just want to be that guy because when we was thinking about the bench players and who they was bringing in, I do. I
didn't
want to
mention
say
right.
sorry.
We didn't
You
mention
know what's
right.
the thing? I just forgot who. I was like, and I was thinking like, yo, who is this another player? And I just didn't think about him.
Yeah, because we was only talking about Pritchard and Williams.
Pritchard and
Grant
Grant.
Williams.
And the thing about it is Grant, you know, Grant was in there for 16 minutes. He didn't really do nothing.
He didn't do anything at all.
But the thing about it, Grant, the thing about this, right, is when we think about it, like, yo, he ain't do nothing. The thing about it, he didn't have to do anything. Because the thing about the way Grant defends and the thing he does is he's defending bigger players, people like Giannis, people like this, that. You know what I mean? That's really his strength right there.
Mm-hmm.
Is he's fast and
you
strong enough.
You don't need him to come in to knock down shots.
Yeah,
you need him to come in and play defense.
Defense, but who's he going to defend on the Warriors like that? Who nobody on the Warriors is physical like that. Where it's just like, all right, Grant, we need you to bump bodies with somebody. So it's like
Wiggins.
him, like this, but the thing about it, like, oh come on, Wiggins ain't even gonna run to the basket like that.
Yeah.
And then where Wiggins is, you got the Time Lord with Looney and things messing up the floor spaces. So it's like you don't have to take him out the game. So Rob Williams is going to be there. Al Horford is the Draymond Green of the Celtics. So he got great positioning. So he's going to be in the position he has to be in. And it's just like this paint is going to be clogged. So all this paint shots that we seen that the Warriors' beautiful offense, even one of the layups that Curry had, it had to be a high off the high little floater layup. You know, Curry layup package is crazy. He threw that thing high so Al Horford couldn't get to it.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, the spacing ain't going to be the best. So it's like, that's the problem. But you got to give it to Boston, man. And White, man, I apologize, man. I just want to say that.
Word. I mean,
you did your thing.
32 minutes he played. He got 21 points, 6 for 11, 5 from 8 from 3. So
that
I mean,
boy is a gamer. He just plays the game right, and that's what you got to do. When you play the game right, you're gonna get rewarded.
And he had the highest plus minus on a floor for either team, and you know he gave you quality minutes. And now I'm looking at the plus minus here. Yeah, I mean, you just need more. You need more. Jordan Poole with a negative plus minus. I'm surprised Otto Porter's here with a negative 18. But I mean, he only gave you 24 minutes. It was mostly in there when they was down. So that plus minus kind of like, exacerbates a little bit. But yeah, man, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. This is tough. 3 for 17 from Tatum. I just think, going forward, the Warriors are gonna figure it out. They always do.
Yeah.
I still think that they're going to win this series, but it's game one tells you a lot, man. And you're giving these boys confidence. This is their first time in the playoffs. No experience. I mean, not first time in the playoffs, but first time in the finals. No experience whatsoever in the finals. This is the biggest stage that they've ever been on. And you just gave them so much confidence because they stole game one.
Yep.
So it's just going to be more tough. This is going to be a tough series for them. And I don't think that the Warriors have ever been in this position. You could go back to the Raptors series, but I mean, KD was injured, Clay was injured, Curry was injured. I mean, everybody was injured in that series.
And I think this is like one of the teams. The Celtics is one of the teams that was closest to the Raptors as far as size across the board.
Yeah, and size and athleticism.
And the Celtics and our Warriors mess with. You know what I mean? They get disrupted by size because guess what? None of them have size. None of them really have that length. Who's going to sit there and go over the top?
But to the Warriors' credit, when they do go up against size, they typically win because of excellent ball movement and excellent shooting.
They force the size of your team to actually get smaller because it's like you can't play a big now. So now that big's out. Now that big's not there, and guess what? You could get to the basket, or you could take advantage of certain things that they're not used to doing in the paint. So when they get to the paint so much, it's going to open up your three, and that wasn't happening.
Another thing is on defense, this was a game that they switched a lot. Typically, they don't switch. They don't allow Curry to switch on the Warriors. Yeah, they don't allow Curry to switch on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was just saying that the Warriors typically don't allow Curry to switch. They hedge and they only show, and Curry usually gets back to others. He needs to switch on. But
Yeah,
what I
but the
like what
matchups
Boston
is
did,
go ahead.
they
Sorry.
forced the switch. So what they did was, uh, Curry would, or whoever was in the corner, that's who Curry would run to. And what they did was, whoever that person was, whether it be Marcus Smart, whether it be Derek White, whether it be Grant Williams, they had them come up all the way to the top. So it was Tatum uh handling the ball, was Brown, and that player would come all the way up. They would force the switch. So they would keep running that pick until there was a switch for Curry. And then that's when, you get Brown on a cut. Or that's when you get Tatum with the assist.
I don't know. I ain't really see that. What I've realized, I ain't gonna lie. The thing about it, when you talk about the hedging
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, the only way you can hedge is if you're guarding a roller, the screener.
Mm-hmm.
You can't hedge if you're guarding the ball. The thing about it is Curry is forced to actually guard Smart. And guess who's bringing the ball up court? Smart. So when you
Yeah.
got to set the screen, even if it's Tatum's man, it's Brown's man, it don't matter whose man it is. He's the person actually being screened, so he can't hedge because he's in the act. He's really in that action.
He's
So
in the
that's the
action.
reason why it didn't work, because you can understand the series before that you had Luka Doncic. Guess who was guarding him? Wiggins. So anytime his man came up, he could blitz and hedge. But
Right.
guess what? Right now you have
Smart.
Marcus Smart bringing the ball
Yeah.
up. So there's no hedging because you have to play him straight up.
So what? So
So it's really no crazy adjustments you could possibly do, but switch,
yeah,
double. That's really the thing. You could bring the stram switch from somewhere. You could double from somewhere, or just make it where obviously once that switch happens straight off of Smart, you go and attack Tatum off rip. Like you don't even give him a chance to force him to pass that ball to Smart. But it's gonna just put a 3-on-4 situation. But guess what? You might have to live with that. But if you don't want
Yeah.
that switch, but at the end of the day, you got to conceive that switch because he's in the action as the point of attack at that point. He's not guarding that screener.
yeah. I didn't realize that. And then you have Smart going 7 for 11, 4 for 7 with 18 points.
Mm-hmm.
Smart is not the type of player where he could create his own shot. He doesn't typically create his own shot. He's more of a set and shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So that is something that they can do. If you have Smart pulling up the ball and Curry is the primary defender on that switch, you could blitz that instead.
Yeah.
So whether it be the Tatum and Brown, you blitz that instead. Leave Smart open and force
Yeah,
Smart to
and force
create
him
that
to
shot.
make a play. But the thing about it
Yeah.
is, it's tough. You don't really see Smart in a short roll action where it's like, yo, you hit that and he's really attacking real quick. So it's like you want to put him in the action, see how he does. But I seen he got it into it once, and he did that little behind the back layup and all that good stuff,
Nah,
and it was like that was cute. And I was like, oh, okay. But it's just like it's tough because he's still a playmaker for that team. So once he gets that ball off that double, he's somebody who can actually make a play as well. So it's like it's tough because the entire team, the only person in that starting lineup that you sit there and think of like, yo, can he really make a play is Robin Williams. And Robin Williams can even pass for a big as well. But it's just like, yo, nobody, you know what I mean? Everybody on that team is a playmaker. You just got to force them into really thinking about like, all right, let me resort and just do something stupid. You want Smart to do something stupid. That's really what it is.
And that's why I feel like Iggy
figure it
should
out.
start. I feel like Iggy should start. Iggy is going to be smart enough to know defensively what to do in that situation. In the essence, because of the fact that you have to account for Smart.
Yeah.
And
then you got to think about it. It's a comfortability as well too, because you know what Iggy is going to do out there.
Yeah.
As far as that entire team, the only person who's new on that floor is going to be Wiggins if you do start him. And it's like by this time, you know what I mean? They know what they're doing. So I think that actually isn't a horrible idea. And it's like we'll live with the odds, I guess, but we're going to stop something.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, 7-game series. We'll be here for the rest of the series. Tomorrow is game 2. in Golden State. We'll be here live for our game 2 analysis. Of course, again, X got Warriors in 5 still. He's crazy. I have Warriors in 6. Game 2 will be what time the game start?
Isn't it
7.
like 7?
Yeah,
Man,
7.
that was
So
early.
yeah, so it's gonna be an early game. We'll be here tomorrow for more coverage, more analysis, more breakdowns. Like, share, subscribe, all that funny, funky stuff.
Like, shit, sub, and all the above.
All the
X and Lou
above.
signing out. You feel me?
Yeah, man. But we out. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, man. Go Warriors.